So it looks like Infinity Ward is on top of their game this year, starting off with probably the biggest update to date in Modern Warfare. Infinity Ward just put out the 1.07 update that comes with a lot of new content and some of the most important nerfs and fixes to the game that they have had yet. So we're going to be covering all of the new content, all the new patches, the nerfs, the changes that they've made that will hopefully make your Modern Warfare experience a whole lot better. So we're going to be breaking it down, starting off with the new content. Guys, if you are new to the Carnage channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. This is the hub for everything Modern Warfare, the updates. We have a lot of funny meme-related content coming out, as well as our team challenges. They're going to start rolling out here very soon as well. So subscribe, turn on post notifications. I promise you guys, our mission and goal here outside of our update videos is to bring you really solid and quality content. So look forward to that. Drop a like and let's go ahead and jump right into it without wasting any more time. So starting off with the new content, that is kind of a big part because this is free. For once in Call of Duty's history, the maps that are coming post-launch are all free for all platforms, which is a big deal because it doesn't separate the player base. And also, it's just good to have new maps, and it's, you know, makes the game last longer and is more enjoyable, and it's just a lot of fun. So I'm really excited about that, and it's a big deal for just Call of Duty as a whole. And those maps are Kravnik Farmland, which is a brand new ground war map, and we'll be playing some gameplay in the background. It looks like, you know, a pretty solid map, and it's obviously larger. It's good for ground war. And that's the way this game works this year round, is they're going to be adding new maps into the game. But of course, we're going to be having, it's not going to seem like as many maps because maps are only playable in certain modes, whether it be 6v6, 10v10, ground war, and actually future playlists, which will involve even larger groups of people, eventually 50v50. So these maps are going to be selected into specific playlists, which will make it seem like there's less maps, but just keep that in mind that they are going into like different, you know, whether it be ground war, 6v6, 10v10. But yeah, the first is Kravnik Farmland in ground war. And then the other map is Shoot House, which is a 6v6 multiplayer map. At first, there was a lot of kind of controversy and scare that it was going to be a gunfight map. And then they actually really responded quite quickly to that information or that scare. And Charlie and Cell put out info saying that it was actually a multiplayer map, which is really cool to see that they are watching. And when there's public outcry or a fear of something, they're responding to it quickly and putting that information out there. That's really interesting to see this year round, and I'm actually really excited to see that. So those are the two brand new maps that we now have in Modern Warfare. Again, this is really exciting that we're like 2 weeks in and we're already getting new maps. That's crazy. This is really a good sign. And then also there is a new playlist and a new mode. Hardpoint is now in rotation. So Hardpoint is now in the game. You can expect obviously that team challenge to come out here very soon. We're super excited about that. That's kind of how we always kickstart the team challenge series. So look forward to the crazy Hardpoint team challenges to be coming out soon. But yes, that is now in the game. And then the new playlist is Shoot House 24/7. This includes a mixture of TDM, Domination, Kill Confirmed, and Headquarters. So Shoot House now has a 24/7 playlist. So they're coming back with those 24/7 playlists, which is typically good because these are usually maps that are smaller and hectic and people really like them, and that's why they make it like this. Obviously, we don't know if we like this map yet, but Shoot House now has a 24/7 playlist. So let's go ahead and get into the general patches and changes that are really quite significant and are going to make our gaming experience a whole lot better. At least that's what we hope. So we're just going to go through all of them. There's a bunch of back-end fixes to prevent crashes and improve stability across all platforms, dev errors, other performance issues with games crashing, blue screens, and whatnot. They also fixed a bunch of bugs where some streaks and field upgrades were able to be flown out of bounds without penalty. General out-of-bound fixes were also added. There was a fix for a bug where a player being killed by an enemy with a variable zoom scope would not see the zoom function in the kill cam. Fix for the Semtex warning audio being heard at the same volume whether in a building or outside. There's a fix for in Headquarters where players were able to place attack, insert, and respawn when their team owned the point. There was also a fix for various collision issues across the maps, added UI that shows when XP events are active in playlist menus. Sprint and tactical sprint speeds are now back to the speeds in the beta. That's a big one. That is a huge one, actually. So I'm really excited about that one. I think a lot of people are as well. There was a fix for a bug where the progress of the bomb defusal can be seen by the team that planted the bomb. There's also a fix for an issue where if multiple personal radars were active on a team and are both marking the same enemy, only one player would see the enemy on their mini map. Now, for the Riot Shield, they fixed an issue where the throwing knife and the thermite weren't causing the shield to go on the player's back when thrown. They've also fixed the issue where explosive splash damage wasn't working consistently. So they're going to continue to also take a look at the Riot Shield and tune it in future updates. Now, the big one that everyone's looking forward to is the Claymores, guys. Detonating an enemy Claymore with bullets is now non-lethal when at full health. They've also reduced the trigger and damage radius and also reduced the damage width to better match the trigger width. So that is huge. The Claymores shouldn't be necessarily as big of a issue now, especially with shooting the Claymores, because that was ridiculous. You'd be full health, you'd shoot a Claymore, and it would like just absolutely obliterate you, even if you were a good distance away. So fixing that, also reducing those radiuses for trigger and whatnot, that's huge. So that's great. I'm excited about that. Battle chatter. So a big thing people complained about was when your character is running around the map, he'd, yell out like, enemy over there, enemy spotted, and he would give away your position. And, enemies would be able to hear that sound touring and whatnot. They'd hear you saying these battle cries and it would just blow your cover entirely. And it's like, what the hell? Why is my character yelling these things out? So they removed the ability for enemies to hear when they've been called out by the opposing team. They've also adjusted the enemy callouts so they are never from your operator. Enemy callouts now use a more restricted cone at the hip and even more restricted in ADS when calculating whether or not to trigger. They're going to continue to monitor this, they say, and make additional tweaks to the battle chatter and future updates. So they're going to continue to tune that and keep a look at that. So I expect future updates as well in the battle chatter. Mounting now slightly increases the recoil. So it's not as quite of a laser when you're mounting, which is really nice because that was kind of frustrating. For the perks, EOD now clamps damage to a non-lethal amount, assuming the player is at full health. For lighting, continued updates to player visibility in dark windows in dark areas. So those windows in those darker spots on the map where it seems like you can never see those guys, they are going to be now more visible from the ground level, from the street view and whatnot. That's a big deal. I'm excited about that to see how that, changes those corner campers, those window campers and whatnot. See if that makes any of a difference. And then for footsteps, they've increased the occlusion percentage to filter footstep sounds behind geometry and adjusted the footsteps volume at a distance. They've also have another large footstep change coming in the next update, which will make crouch and ADS movement significantly quieter. So I don't know if I like that, but they say stay tuned on that. For challenges and progressions, they've made some tweaks as well to the issues that we've seen. Daily challenges and active missions are getting a full sweep of testing and fixes. They're going to have more updates to come, but this is what they've done so far. They fixed a bug where the infiltrator challenge was not tracking properly. They fixed for launchers not giving the XP when shooting down kill streaks. They fixed a bug where planting or defusing 5 bombs in cyber attacker S&D was not tracking properly. And for the camo challenge for kills after a reload where it didn't give the player enough time to acquire a kill, so they've increased that as well. There was a fix for a bug where your XP required to reach the next rank was higher than the value needed. Next up is weapons, and this is a big one. There's a lot of changes to weapons that people really wanted to see. For the 725 shotgun, the most prominent and most memeable one, there has been an increase to ADS and hit spread and reduced damage range. So it's no longer going to be a sniper, hopefully. Literally, this weapon, if you guys saw clips like this one, for an example, it literally could snipe people across the map. It was ridiculous. For the M4A1 assault rifle, they reduced the damage range and there is small recoil increase. For assault rifles across the board, they increased hit spread to reduce effectiveness up close, less damage at long range for full auto 556 rifles. SMGs received an increase for movement speed, an increase for ADS move speed, and a small reduction in sprint out time. The Uzi SMG specifically receives an increase in damage range. The MG34 LMG received an increased hip spread, damage range reduction, small ADS slowdown. The M91 LMG received an increased hip spread, a small damage range reduction. The PKM increased hip spread, medium damage range reduction. The pistols received an increased move speed, reduced sprint out time, and increased damage range, which is probably needed because, my god, some of the pistols were just atrocious. And then crouch and prone no longer adjust recoil, so that's kind of an interesting change as well. In ground war, they fixed a bug where players would sometimes sometimes be unable to pick a spawn location. They also fixed a bug where tack inserts could cause players to spawn on the enemy home base. There was also a bunch of special ops adjustments, tweaks, and fixes. So I'll actually leave the patch notes where you can read these over yourself. You can keep them up if you want to look them through and whatnot down in the description below. If you guys want to check those special ops adjustments out, those will be linked down in the description below, guys. Hopefully you're excited as I am for these updates to the game. I think this is going to make the experience a lot better. I didn't read anything in there, however, about any adjustments made to the tanks. I'm a little bit worried about that. I don't know why they didn't address that whatsoever. It seemed like it was a pretty hefty request from the community. It was probably one of the top ones. They got the Claymores, you know, they got the different bugs and glitches that people really were not happy with, the 725, the M4. They made some really good tweaks in there, but the tanks was definitely needed in my opinion. But I'm not going to complain. I'm sure they'll address it sometime in the near future. So I'm looking forward to the updates to come. Anyhow, drop a like on today's video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and look forward to our videos later today, guys.